Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. So I am new at this, so bear with me along the way. I realized during my homeschool journey that there are not a lot of ACE YouTube videos, and so I wanted to kind of try and change that a little bit. So I'm going to talk to you for a few minutes on about our homeschool journey, who I am, where I come from, what we're doing, and how we got to where we are today. So my name is Kimberly. I live in the great state of Illinois. I homeschool two children. I have a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old, two boys. And we have homeschooled. This upcoming school year will be our 4th year. And we have learned a lot along the journey, and we're still learning a lot along the way. And there are just a few things that I've learned so far that I kind of just want to share. But this video is mainly about who I am and what curriculum we started with and where we're at right now. So like I said, I am a mother to 2 children. I'm married to a wonderful husband. I am a stay-at-home full-time mom, homeschool mom. My husband owns his own business, and so we get the luxury of we stick with the Monday through Friday routine normally. During the day my husband works, and then on weekends it's kind of just family time. So this is us. And so I'm going to go ahead and start. My 2 children were enrolled in a local Christian school, and about 6 weeks before the school, one was in kindergarten at the time and one was in pre-K, and at the time the school closed 6 weeks before the school year was to finish due to a tragedy at the school. And so it closed its doors, and I was just I didn't know what I was going to do. So we prayed about it, and I'll add in there, we are a Christian family. My husband's a minister, and we have been in ministry since we've been married. So we immediately went to start praying about it to see what God wanted us to do, and I knew right away that He wanted us to homeschool. And so a little scared, a little hesitant, but I knew that God was going to prepare me for what He had for us to do. So I told my husband, I said, okay, if we're going to homeschool, we're going all in. And so we did. We decided to go all in. Where we live, we have a formal living room and then a family room. So our formal living room is pretty much it was a pretty room. We never was in there. We did everything in the family room. So we decided to sell everything in our formal living room and turn it into schoolroom. And we did. My husband built desks for our children, and we turned that whole room into school area, and it's still to this day our schoolroom, and we love it. So we started homeschool, and when we first started homeschool, I didn't really know a lot about all the different curriculums there was available, and is there a lot of them? We have tried a few, not a lot. We've done some of the popular ones, I guess, if you want to say that. I don't really know what the popular ones are, but I knew of families growing up. So my background, I went to public school most of my life. My husband went to public school his whole life. There was a few times that I went to a Christian school. I went to a Christian school for upper elementary, and then my grandmother passed away, so I got out of the Christian school, went back into public school system because my mom was needed for that situation anyway. And then my mom homeschooled me for a little bit, for a couple years, and those experiences with homeschooling and the Christian school, we used ACE curriculum. One Christian school that I went to used a BJU, but I did not go there for very long, so I was familiar with ACE curriculum. My sister homeschooled her 2 children with ACE curriculum, so I was familiar with it. But when we started our homeschool journey, the school my children went to, they used a BJU, but I knew that I didn't want to teach a BJU. It's a good curriculum, but I didn't want to teach it. So we decided to start with BJU Press, distance learning. And I think the reason I started with that, I was very insecure of teaching my kids. So they were at the age of learning to read and a lot of things that were really important for to help them with the rest of their schooling. And so I felt very inadequate that I couldn't do it. So I thought, okay, I need a curriculum where there's a teacher that will teach them. So I researched Bob Jones, BJU Press, and we did the distance learning. We did that for 3 years. And it is a very good curriculum. I'm not going to sit and say it's not, but there are pros and cons. And so I'm getting ready to do, this video is about pros and cons, a little introduction to me, and pros and cons from BJU to ACE. So we started and we worked with BJU. And like I said, it's a good curriculum. I'll get into pros and cons in a few minutes. But we switched about 5 months ago to ACE. So I'll kind of tell you the transformation that happened. We did BJU Press, and in that time frame, my father battled cancer, and I felt like we kind of practically lived at the hospital. This was before COVID. He was battling cancer, and we was always in St. Louis, which is a couple hours from us. And so I wasn't able to homeschool to the fullest that I wanted to. And so we had a lot of down days, up days, and we kind of just, I don't know, that there was a whole year there where there was kind of a bad situation with homeschooling. But we did it when we could do it, and I would even take school with us to the hospitals. And so we just did the best we could. Then my father passed away a couple weeks before the COVID situation. He passed away with his battle of cancer last year. And so when that happened, things started changing in my homeschool, in our homeschool. Grief took over, then COVID hit, and I felt like so much was going on that we needed a big change some way, somehow. I felt like the load for teacher and the load for students was so much when we did BJU that we needed a change. And so we did. We decided, I prayed about it. I'm like, okay, Lord. And there were so many different curriculums that people would tell me about. And I'm like, well, I don't know. So we went with ACE. I knew that ACE had been around for so long. They're a tried and true curriculum. They're still in business because they're working. And so I decided to take the leap of faith and order all ACE, all subjects, and we jumped right in. And let me tell you, it was the best decision that we have ever made for our homeschool. So I'm going to give you some pros and cons about BJU and ACE while I'm here in this little avenue here. So BJU, and I wrote them down because some pros, it's a great, solid curriculum. I really can't say that it's a bad curriculum. It is really good. It has a great foundation. It's biblical. Academically, it's great. It is really a good curriculum. There's teachers on there. That's a pro. There's videos, and the teachers explain everything. So, I mean, the teachers are A+ in my opinion. They're great. The videos are good. There are a few that are a little outdated, but they update all the time. And so we enjoyed it. But here comes the cons. So there is a lot of busy work with BJU. Now, you can take out a lot of the work and not do it, but it's part of it. And so we tried to keep up with everything that we could, but there's just a lot of busy work. So BJU was designed for a Christian school setting. So that is why there is a lot of busy work, because Christian schools, they have long school days, longer than a normal homeschool. And so they needed the work so that they could have stuff to do. So there's a lot of busy work. Which busy work leads to long days. That's another con. It turned in, even when we tried to take out some of the busy work, our days were still really long, it seemed like. I just tried to cut corners every way I could. I finally got down to where, okay, we're just going to do the basics to keep up our reading, our English, our math, but it still was just, it was a lot. Way too much prep work. Prep work for me, I felt like I had to get up, start the day myself, just 30 minutes at least of getting the stuff prepared for the day, getting our pages ready, our manipulatives that we needed, the extra things we needed. It was just a lot of prep work for me, laying on my shoulders. And at this time, this is when I was dealing with grief with my father and the COVID, and as everybody's at home and just things going on. So it was a lot. And the last con, BJU is very expensive. Now, I will be the first to say you cannot put a price tag on education. And I said that a lot when I started using BJU, because people would tell me, wow, that's a very expensive curriculum. Well, I will invest whatever I need to give my kids a good education. That's just, if I have the means to do it, I'm going to do it. So it really wasn't a big deal to me. We just purchased it. We, and my kids, we enjoyed it for such a time until we got to a point. And so when I did decide, so that's my pros and cons for BJU. It is a good curriculum, but it's just a lot of work, too much for a homeschool setting, in my opinion. So we jumped and leaped into ACE, and I was very, very nervous because the switch from BJU to ACE is a pretty good switch. It's a pretty good leap. it's a difference in learning and different things, but my kids were still at the lower level to where I knew it wouldn't be such a big, huge ordeal to them. It wouldn't scar them where they were learning. They would just pick up from where they were. So I felt when we were doing BJU that my kids were doing good with reading and their math. They were doing great. So I felt. And so I remember the first day we did ACE. So we got all of our books in and my kids were really excited about it. And I filled out their goal charts. And from the first day, I felt like the confidence level in our homeschool skyrocketed. I don't know if they felt more confident because it was like they had control over how they did the curriculum. So ACE is simpler as far as it's more of a self-taught curriculum. It's not so teacher, it's not so much on the teacher. Sorry if you hear sneezing, my puppy's out here and he's sniffing leaves over here. Did you sniff up a leaf? You must have sniffed a leaf too hard. So it's not so teacher invasive. You don't have to, there's not so much work on the parent, which is the teacher. So some pros and cons for ACE, and I'll tell you about how we're doing right now. Pros, it helps build confidence. Like I said, my kids' confidence, I just don't know how to explain that. I can't. It's wonderful. Another pro is it's more independent than BJU. You have smaller workbooks, which are the PACEs, and so they're smaller. You don't have such a big workbook and they don't get overwhelmed. You have smaller little books to work. It's easy to take with us. So I have a child that's in vision therapy right now, and we drive 4 hours a day. We drive 2 hours to our vision therapy session and 2 hours back. We do that twice a week. So we're in the car for 4 hours each of those days. And so we can just grab them and go, and they do their school on the road along the way. And it is so easy to take. There's no prep work. That's another pro. No prep work at all. The only prep that you do is fill out the goal chart. And it's very simple and easy. It's easy on the teacher. It's easy on the student. It's an awesome curriculum. It's been out for over 50 years. That right there speaks for itself. If it didn't work, it wouldn't have been out that long and still going strong. They use King James Version Bible for their PACEs, not just in their Bible curriculum, excuse me, but throughout all the PACEs. And we are a King James Version family, so that was a huge, huge plus. And it's inexpensive. That, like I said earlier, you can't put a price on education. That's my philosophy, but it is very inexpensive. It's not expensive at all. And if you just want to try it out, you don't have to order the whole school year. You can order like one PACE in each subject, and the PACEs are anywhere from $2 to $3. Very cheap. You can order one for each subject and see if you like it, and then go from there. There are no teacher manuals to buy. You're just buying the PACEs, the books for your children, and then the score keys. Now, first and second grade, in my opinion, second grade and under, you don't need score keys. Now, for third and above, I like the math ones. I still don't really need them for word building in English and science and social studies, but for math I do, because you're getting some long word problems, and unless you want to sit there all day and do them yourself or get a calculator, it's a lot easier with the score key. The cons. So I was sitting in there a while ago, and I told my husband, I said, I've got to come up with some kind of a con for ACE, but I couldn't think of any. I don't really have any cons for ACE so far. The only thing that I can think of is maybe math. And the reason I say that is because where my oldest child is, there is a lot of math problems. And so when a child opens a book, they become overwhelmed by all of them. But we have some things that we do to get around that and to fix that. So it's not really a con. And it's the curriculum is so good that I can't say it's a con. It's just a con to a child, I guess, that sees it. But there is a difference. There's two different math approaches. There's a spiral and a mastery, and ACE is definitely mastery. And if you don't know what that is, I might cover it in another video, or you can look online and it will tell you, but I don't really have a con for ACE. So I'm going to try to wrap this up. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to start doing videos. I'm going to try to do at least 1 or 2 a week. I've got a lot of stuff I want to share. We've been doing homeschooling now. I said this is coming up our 4th year. I've learned a lot of different things for organization. I wrote on here some videos that I want to do. If you follow me on Facebook, which a lot of my friends do, I'm always doing homeschool videos. always different things I find, different tidbits, constantly. So I'm going to try to bring some of those important ones that were on my Facebook page. I'm going to try to do some live videos, and I'll do live videos for my schoolroom. My husband is doing some vision therapy exercises with my son in the house, and it was kind of loud, so I came outside, but I will show you. I'm wanting to do a video with our homeschool room, show you our homeschool room, show you some videos with organization, how we organize our paces, how we organize our kids' desk, a peek at some extra helps for math facts, things that we have done that helps that, some day in the life of our homeschooling, what we're going to be using for 2021-2022 upcoming homeschool year. I have some new things that I'm ordering that I want to share with y'all. And my homeschool planner, I have a homeschool planner that I use, and it works great with ACE curriculum. So those are some things that are coming up in the future. So I've done videos since I started homeschooling. For 3 years now, I've done videos, but I've never brought it to YouTube. So I'm trying something different because I know there are a lot of homeschool families out there that use ACE and just need some extra encouragement along the way. I'm going to try to encourage the best I can. I've had some good people that have been set along my journey that have helped me, and I want to be an encouragement to others. So we are still loving ACE. Sorry, there's flies out here. Still loving ACE. We've been doing it, like I said, 4 to 5 months now. I can't remember the exact time we started, but it's 4 to 5 months. My kids are still loving it. They enjoy it. They get up in the morning, and of course no kids really like school, but they don't complain. And it got to where they were just crying and dreading it, and then that took stress on me. It was very stressful to me, and so we don't really deal with that very much anymore. Of course we have down days, but my kids really like school. And one thing I will add is, so my oldest son, which he has problems with different things that he's going to vision therapy for, and so he's still struggling a little bit with his reading, not because he doesn't comprehend it, but because of the things he's seen. Like sometimes he'll see double and he'll see things pop out of his page, so that interferes with what he's reading. But I will say, when we made the change from BJU to ACE, the reading for my 2 children, I was very nervous. I thought, my youngest one, I don't know how he's going to do the science and social studies. I sat at my desk and I was just listening to them do their work. And I sat at my desk all day long while my kids are doing school, because I stay in there to help them. Even though ACE is more of a self-taught curriculum, I do not hand my child a book and say, do it. I'm there with them along the whole thing, the whole day. We go over spelling words, I'm their teacher. I'm there. I don't go and do laundry and dishes. I'm in the schoolroom with them when we do school. So I was at my desk one day, and so my kids, they get out their own books in the order they want to, and they follow their go chart. And I sat at my desk and I was listening to both of my kids reading independently at their desk their science and social studies. And I was blown away. I was so scared that it would be overwhelming to them and they couldn't read it. And I was amazed. So that is why I said the self-confidence that has been brought to our homeschool room because of this curriculum change is wonderful. It's excellent. I'm very excited. I'm excited for our journey. I'm excited that I started using ACE. We are going to do some different things the upcoming school year, as far as doing a few things together as a group. We do Bible together as a group, and I do not use ACE Bible. I use CLE, which is Christian Light Education Bible. The only reason I do is because my children are still young, and CLE is almost just like ACE, their Bible. But CLE is a story form instead of straight from the Bible verses. So my kids kind of understood it a little easier, but we do plan on using ACE Bible. We have used it, but we stopped it for a little bit until they get a little older, and then we'll move them back from that story form to the ACE Bible, because it is a very good curriculum, Bible curriculum as well. But I'm trying not to keep this very long. I just want to get on here, shout out who we are and what we're doing, and I hope that you will subscribe and you will follow me, because I have a lot of videos I would like to bring to you to kind of help along the way in your ACE journey. So I hope you guys are having a great school year, and I hope you all have a blessed day.